What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Relentless Project. In professional wrestling, the heel is the bad guy, the villain, the guy the crowd loves to hate. My guest today makes his living as a heel. He walks to the ring telling the crowd he is 100% pure greatness and the greatest bad man ever. But the truth is, the man playing the villain is living one of the greatest redemption stories. Many moons ago, Nick Hamrick was living a dangerous life. He wasn't making the best decisions. He was living the fast life, a street medic, if you will. He lost everything. He hit rock bottom. But instead of letting that be the end of his story, he found his faith, he found his purpose, and he completely flipped the script. Today, he is a dedicated father to a 7-year-old boy, a licensed real estate agent, and one of the hardest working professional indie wrestlers in the game. Since debuting in just 2020, he has wrestled over 300 matches across multiple states, shared the ring with legends like Shane Douglas, Heath Slater, and Mang, and racked up multiple heavyweight championships, including the 2024 ACW Wrestler of the Year. He is proof that your past does not dictate your future. Nick Hamrick, welcome to the Relentless Project.
You are now tuning in to the Relentless Project. Real people, real stories, real life.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
It's not one of your pro show introductions. Those can be kind of hot, but I kind of put my little spin to it.
I got you.
As I mentioned, I appreciate you for doing this. You have quite, and it goes to show you like perception, right? You see someone, you see them doing what they love, you see them, being successful in it, and you're like, oh, they have it all figured out. But everyone has a story, which is why I love doing this podcast. I love meeting people such as yourself and kind of dissecting your brain. And we were supposed to do this last year, this time. We just couldn't get around. I'll take the blame. And
I was going to say, I've been pretty busy since then. I think we're over 300 matches now. And yeah,
man, that is busy. I want to talk. I can't wait to get into all that stuff because I grew up watching wrestling. My grandfather watched wrestling, and he was like, he would be glued to the TV. You couldn't tell him anything other than wrestling. And the older I got, the more I actually appreciated it because I realized all that goes into it. And I had the benefit of I worked production for one of the arenas up in Erie. Well, the arena in Erie, and WWE came there.
Okay.
So I got to they have their own, obviously you probably know, they have their whole production team come, but they needed someone from the arena to kind of plug everything, migrate everything into the arena. So I got the benefit of hearing everything they were doing.
Nice.
And when I tell you I was mind blown, watching everyone, practice and get ready and train beforehand, I'm like, I thought they just went out there and kind of, did their thing, but there's a lot to it. I don't know how much you're willing to divulge, but I'll take it all. Before we get into that, I kind of want to, give the listeners a little bit about you. Who are you? Where were you raised? What did you grow up doing? What did you enjoy?
Well, I am handsome Nick Hamrick, the man with 100% pure greatness in his veins. All my life I've been told what I was, and I come from Charleston, West Virginia, so I was kind of a pretty boy in a coal mining state. Hunting, fishing is really big there, and I grew up doing all those things. My family, I've been hunting and fishing since I was born, basically. I was raised with a gun in my hand, and just growing up in that type of surroundings, environment, when you're as handsome as me, you get a lot of flack, so that kind of put a chip on my shoulder at a young age, and always kind of trying to fit in. And then I found out that the places I was wanting to fit in weren't where I wanted to be or needed to be. So you go all the way to 2026, and finally feel like I'm exactly where I need to be. And I don't have to apologize for being the pretty boy. In fact, I get to kick your ass for it too.
You got good hair. I will say that for sure. How long's that been going? How long's that been running?
I've had long hair before. This time it's been about 3 or 4 years. I go back and forth between short and long, but I just having long hair. There's things that you see on camera. And as I got out of the independent scene, I was still in the independent scene, but I started doing more, higher production and seeing myself on TV or on different programs. I saw that I didn't like how my hair looked. I always had a distinct look that I wanted my character or myself to be like one day. And I never imagined having black hair. But as we grow older, my blonde hair just didn't look good anymore on camera. It had grays. It was transitioning into some kind of mess. And so I decided to hell with it. Flair, and all the 80s wrestlers, had bleach blonde hair. And my thing is, I want to take a page out of all their book, but I don't want to just completely copy it. So if you notice, my character and everything I do is very, very similar, and it brings back some memories, but they're not hitting it on the nose. So the black hair is really just my version of the bleach blonde hair. So
that's interesting that you're paying homage to like kind of the OGs in the industry, and I could see a lot of like I haven't watched a full one of your matches. I need to do that. Like I said, I love wrestling. That's something I need to do. I want to see them live because the energy live is different. But from what I have seen, you have like this mix of like Edge and like Nash. I don't know, like it's hard to describe. I don't know how you can mix those two, but
I've heard Edge before. I've never heard Nash.
Really?
No, my influences actually are Flair and Scott Steiner and Booker T.
Oh,
so yeah, it's I've gotten Rick Martel, I've gotten Garvin before, and Rick Rude, but and of course Edge, but Nash, that's a new one.
Maybe it's the stature. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, I like Nash. I have no problem with that. I wish I had his height.
You wish? Yeah. Well, we all wish we had his height. Just put his boot up, knock you out. I can see the Ric Flair because Ric Flair was the pretty boy, the flashy. I want to remember. I want to be able to memorize what he would say. What would he say? He'd be like the dun, 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 dun. He just would go off.
So I try to be so original now, and just like I said, pay homage to those guys. But for years before I got into wrestling, they have this Halloween contest here in my hometown, and it's still going on today. I think it's in its like 15th year, and I won. I want to say I won it 3 times. But once I got into wrestling, I really stopped doing it. I used to dress up as Ric Flair and go to this costume contest. And I stopped doing it because, people now know me, as Handsome Nick Hamrick. So, and when you go out there, I've been living this now for 6 years. It's just hard to really put on, even for fun. I take my work so seriously that even on a night off, I don't want to be anybody but me. And but I'll give you a little spiel if you want it.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for. I was going to ask, how do you manage that? Like, obviously, you're you, and you are you when you're working, but like you can never not be working in this industry because you influence so many people and so many eyes are on you, and especially like I think of like the kids, right? Like the kids, they see you as this guy, and then if they run into you in person, you almost have to be that guy still so they can connect and understand because that's the way they know you.
Well, just like anybody, I have my good days and bad. So, on a good day, I might be feeling good. A kid sees me or recognizes me, if he's a fan, I might give him a fist bump, and not completely just tear him down. But if he's hating on me, then I'm going to give it right back. And if it's a bad day, I'm really going to be pissed off and give it back. So, it just depends. In the ring, in the showtime, it's me. It is me. It's just turned up to 1,000. So everything's just exaggerated. Growing up, like I said, in West Virginia, being a pretty boy, I got so much jealousy and hate. And for the longest time, you try to kind of like minimize that or show people that's not who you are. And then, when wrestling came along, I dealt with it too. I get in locker rooms and, old timers don't want to give you a chance, or guys that, didn't really make it as far as they wanted to go, trying to screw you over or hold you down. And it's weird to me, even though I was older, more mature and experienced in life, here I am. I felt like a kid again, when I first started in the locker room. It's so intimidating, and you don't really realize that it's just hate. They're just jealous. They would love to go out there and do what you do, but they can't. They have to do 30 flips and, do a bunch of crazy stuff and hurt their body because, I can't do that, but I can do a lot more with just a punch and a look and a smile. And in wrestling, we try to have charisma, we try to have the look, and we try to have the in-ring ability. So if you can at least have 2 out of the 3, they say you'll make it. And it just eventually one day I was just like, screw it. I'm not here to make anybody else happier. I don't care what people think of me. This is the platform for me to really act how I've always wanted to act and turn it up. And if I go too far, I go too far. Screw it.
Yeah, you live and you learn. The next time you dial it back if needed. What got you into in so many different fields you could have went to? Why wrestling? Like, what got you into wrestling?
Well, I mean, I've played every sport there is. I always, my dream, some people want to be a police officer, president, astronaut, whatever. My dream was to be a professional athlete. And, my first love has always been wrestling. One of the very first memories I have, I think I was 4 years old at a cookout my parents were having, and was watching clips of, Bash at the Beach, Flair and Hogan. And so it just kind of stuck with me. And, even though I had, I played baseball, I had scouts come look at me. I played semi-pro football. I've done things in my life I was proud of athletic wise. I felt like, I always left that on the table as far as being a true professional athlete. I didn't accomplish that, and it bothered me. And the older you get, the more those things on the shelf, start to either scream or they just die. And this thing was just screaming at me like, why haven't you done this? You've done all this other stuff. You talk about living life and not wasting it. Here I am. And so it got to the point where it's weird. It's like many times I didn't like wrestling or didn't enjoy it or didn't like watching it, and I would try to kind of put it away and just forget about it. And it has found me over and over and over again, to the point now where, sometimes I feel like I'm not the one driving. I'm not the one in control. Like I was supposed to do this. And I know that sounds really cliche, but if you've lived my life and gone through what I've gone through, and then at 29 years old decide that you're going to do this, which 29 in athletic terms is, you should be kind of like, you've either found out you made it or not, or you're going to retire, or you're coming to the end.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm 33, and I feel like I should just be retired.
I'm about to be 36, and it's like, man, I feel like I'm finally where I'm supposed to be. It's crazy. It's surreal.
How do you even break into this industry? Because I feel, a lot of us have been that kid.
Yeah.
watching wrestling. We're in the backyard. You're jumping off the deck to do a frog splash or whatever. Like we were all that kid. How did you manage to not only find an avenue in, but also make it a profession, make it your living? Because we see this a lot where guys and girls are starting it, and then they have to, it doesn't pan out, or they're looking at other options. They're not putting all their eggs in the basket. I always talk about full sending. Relentless is not just going. It's maintaining that relentless approach to it. How did you manage to break in the industry?
I mean, it wasn't easy. I had tried a couple times before in my life when I was younger. I remember in high school, I did backyard wrestling, got with some friends that, they were semi-trained by a guy who's still in the industry today, Eric Darkstorm. But they really, they didn't do much under him, under his tutelage, and they got a ring. So, I get invited, to my friend's house, and they got a ring. It was pretty cool. But, what you're doing there is it's basically play, and it's dangerous play because you're not learning the right way and how to work and how to work safe. And so, I did some death match stuff in high school. Was like, you know what, I don't know if this is going to go anywhere with the people I'm with. So I just focused back on football and basketball. And well, then you fast forward, I was in college in Charlotte, North Carolina, and George South was running a wrestling school. He still runs it. It's at High Spots. And it's a great facility, a great place. A lot of people know about it in the industry. And he allows you to come down first time to watch, and see if it's something up close that you really want to do. Because I think it's like $500, or it was at the time, which is really cheap. I mean, growing up, there was no wrestling schools around. The closest wrestling school at the time, I think, was OVW, and they had like a program. It was like $5,000 to go to for several months. And, maybe some 18-year-olds, some 19-year-olds, they're that hungry. But at the time, I just had things in life I wanted to do. I had options. I was young, and I was, really just mainly obsessed with making money and making it easy and fast and chasing girls. And, it's like, I had these things I wanted to do, but it was like, I'll get to them. I'm very lucky that I was able to get to them because a lot of people don't get that. And so it just never took that opportunity to pay that much money and go get the training I needed. And I'm sitting there with George South watching this go down. And I mean, these guys are slamming each other in that ring. I hadn't been to a show in probably 10 years. And I was in shape. I was working out every day. And I just was like, man, I don't, for the first time, my athletic self, I was intimidated. Like I like really intimidated, not the kind of butterflies and nerves, but it was like, wow, I think this might have passed me by. I don't know if I can do this. And that was at 23, 24. And so fast forward to today, or to when I was 29, how I actually got into it. COVID happened. Okay. I was working in the car industry as a service manager, making really good money. And, I'd already lost a job a couple of times, working hard, saving up, investing, doing all the adult stuff, and life comes up, knocks you on your ass, takes it all away. And here it happened again. I didn't know during COVID, we all didn't know when layoffs happened if, we hear businesses, oh, we'll take care of you. We'll hire you back. Yeah, but you've been through that. You realize that that's all could be bullshit. So I really had kind of like a come to Jesus midlife crisis moment, I guess. And I got laid off. And then a few days later, I woke up about 6 a.m., walked in there to the bathroom. My ex, we weren't married, but we had a family together. So it was like an ex-wife. Was in the bathroom getting ready, and I was crying, and she just asked me, she's like, "What do you want to do in life?" And I was like, I want to wrestle. I was like, I feel like we're at the cliff. I either do something with this now and see if it could have happened, or I just shut up and go give me a 9 to 5 and live a regular life. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just all your life when you thought you were meant for more was very discouraging. And she laughed. She fucking laughed at me, man. She thought I was stupid. She thought I was crazy. And so that day, I came up with a plan, and I thought, in years past, I could never find a school. I could never get my foot in the door to even try this, to even get the training, So I was like, screw it. I'm going to work out for a month, which I was in terrible shape. I had let myself go. I was drinking an entire bottle of Malibu Black every night. I mean, an entire bottle. It might have been the small bottles, but it was, it's 70% alcohol. I definitely
the small
an
ones.
alcoholic and didn't know it. And so I was in terrible shape, and I was like, well, I'm going to work out. I'm going to tan. I'm going to order me some tights and some boots. And I'm going to take promo shots and do promo interviews, and I'm going to send those to every company, everybody I can find. And hopefully at least one will see some sort of potential and be like, you need training. I'll take your money. So that's what happened. And got in with Power Slam Academy and Chance Profit and Jason Kincaid here in West Virginia, and never looked back.
There's a lot to dissect there.
Yeah.
COVID happened. You lose your job. Everyone's thinking, how am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to support my family? And you took that opportunity to jump off the cliff and build the plane on the way down.
Yeah.
Like, that's wild.
Yeah. It's just, man, I got to a point in life where I was just tired of working my ass off and having things taken from me out of my control. I was like, there's still a lot I can't control in life and in this business. I mean, I could get paralyzed tomorrow, but at the same time, but at the same time, it's something I built. It's something that, it's just, if it all went away tomorrow, I feel like I built something that I could hang my hat on, that I look back or people look back and they say, what was Nick Hamrick? What did he do? Well, looks like here he is a professional wrestler. And so that to me is, I'm proud of that. I feel like nobody can really take that away from me. So.
And then you share this with at the time, who's your significant other, and we always talk about, pushing for our dreams and supporting each other, but you don't get that reaction, which would easily change our approach, right? Like, if you tell your significant other, hey, this is a passion of mine, I want to pursue it, like right now's the time, and you don't get that immediate confirmation, it's very easy to just throw it to the wayside. Yeah. You did the opposite. You almost doubled down.
Yeah, I mean, everything's hindsight 2020. I mean, in the moment, it hurt, but I wasn't crying because of her. When she laughed and said it was stupid, it's almost like I was blinded by so much motivation. It didn't really faze me. It's like, I'm going to do this hell or high water. I've done things the right way for years now, and hasn't got me anywhere. And I'm sitting here supposed to be telling my kids to believe in themselves and go after their dream and all this, and and that was a sign clearly that we weren't right for each other. She wasn't right for me, but we had 6 years together, and we had she had a daughter, Scarlett. So I mean, like I said, we had a family. It wasn't we continued to be together for about 2 years, and then I eventually, it came down to it. It was, not having somebody support your dreams. And when you're obsessed with trying to make somebody else happy in their own life, that's never going to work. And eventually it came down to, I really felt like there was not a way for me to survive in life without moving forward with this dream. So it was survival at that point, and you cut off what what isn't working for you.
No, I totally get it, man. Because I've always been a work. Like I love staying busy. Not staying busy
Yeah,
because people stay busy to be distracted. I genuinely enjoy building, right? Like I'm always on my laptop with on the pod, like thinking about ways for the podcast, editing graphics, editing video, reaching out to people, setting up meetings. And people always look like, how do you do all this? I'm also in real estate. We'll get into that. You do that as well. But I genuinely enjoy it. I genuinely enjoy these conversations. I genuinely can't speak. Genuinely enjoy when I'm putting something together and I'm seeing like people enjoy it. Like it brings me joy to see someone listening to the podcast and hearing about Nick Hamrick and going, wow, man, that story really motivated me. Or, man, his story, I can really connect with his story. When I see that, it's like, oh, man, this is so worth it. Like, it's not busy for me. It's not draining for me. It's actually the opposite. I get so fueled up.
yeah,
And then when you have that opposing force, you're not surrounded by a good community, whether it's your friends, whether it's your significant other, whether it's just a bad crowd you're in. When you have that thing pulling you away from it, you can't really succeed in it unless you give one up. You have to give something up, or you're always going to be torn with yourself.
And I like to think everything happens for a reason, and timing is everything. And I think about a lot of times if I had been in this industry, or my career started back when I was 18, 19, like a lot of the others today. They get that chance, that opportunity. I honestly think I'd probably blown it up. I don't think I was mature enough to handle what comes with it. I'm not saying that it would have been anything crazy or bad. I just think probably drugs, or
nothing crazy or bad. Drugs, crazy and bad.
You have so many people blacklisting themselves today on just really inappropriate stuff, and we see it a lot in the industry, in the entertainment industry. I see just what goes on, and I'm like, man. So what I meant is, like, I wouldn't have probably a problem with that. What I had a problem with is just the alcohol party, and I was the type where I'd party all night, work all day, and so it just I honestly feel lucky and relieved that I was able to go through the trials and tribulations of life and then get into this, because this industry, not just wrestling, entertainment industry, because this is athletic, this is the sport, but it's a business, but it's also wrapped up into Hollywood too. I mean, it's the devil of both worlds. I mean, and it's really easy to get lost in.
The wrestling industry is very unique. Very unique.
Yeah.
You have to be athletic. You have to be quick on your feet. You have to have the wherewithal of an actor, but not an actor, because you have to be able to improvise, adapt, and overcome, right? Like, you can't just say, cut, let me redo this. It's like you're constantly not only thinking, but you're moving and like having to problem solve real time. Like, that requires a special kind of, like I mentioned, wherewithal. It's draining. It's taxing. Like, look at all the people in the industry who haven't made it, who haven't finished their career because it ate them alive, whether it bled into their family life, or it bled into them making poor decisions that, cost them the ultimate price. Like, it's taxing. It's very taxing. And it's easy to just, you get this limelight, you have eyes on you, you have influence, and some people do that and, go one way, and others take it and just, they don't use it for good. So, but like you mentioned, and I want to talk more about that. You said, I'm glad you went through your trials and tribulations before getting into this industry. Can you open, you're very open about your past. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of what you were going through? Because there's a lot of listeners, well, not a lot, but maybe there's listeners who are going through that and maybe they're not aware they're in that moment. Or maybe there's people who are aware of that moment and they're like, I don't know how I can get out. Or, I'm already here. No one really cares. Why should I try? So how did you what were you going through and how did you manage to break through that?
I had a lot of amazing people around me in my life. I mean, grandparents to my parents, just people that didn't give up on me. So, I mean, and of course, God, I'm not like super religious, but I do believe in God. I do believe in, I feel like there's got to be a place for some of the most awful people in this world to go to. It can't just be we just end up in the same fishbowl together. Otherwise, to me, I feel like my personal belief, what's the point? But, everybody's entitled to their own belief. But at the same time, I hate using the word blessed. I really do. If I had to say, man, I'm just lucky. Like I just, because to this day, I ask myself that question. I don't know how it happened. I don't know how I literally never expected to make it to 35. So, it's kind of like when you're here and now you're like, oh my God. But, growing up, I mean, my parents got a divorce at a young age, and I really haven't talked about this. A lot of people, since I've started my career, I've kept everything really close to the chest. And I think a lot of people wanted to do the Relentless Project, because a lot of fans want to know more about me, and other podcasts that I've done in the past, I've just, kept that at a minimum. But, no, I mean, parents got a divorce at a young age, and, just mom having to work, 2 jobs and, even one time 3. And, you think that, I should be the good teenage son and, take care of her and take care of things. But I think any teenager that goes through this, when your life is all rainbows and sunshine, and you go from multiple trips to Disney World and races, NASCAR races, and wherever else, beach, and, throughout the year, having boats and campers, just very well off lifestyle, to literally within just a few months, you can't rent a movie. You've lost your house. You've lost everything. You're in a new apartment. It's like, I didn't have the know-how to be supportive. I was just mad, the thing is, when you're that young, you don't even know that you're mad. Like, you don't really, you think you're fine and you're okay and nothing's bothering you. But yeah, you're out here and you're not listening to your parents, and you're doing, I lost my virginity when I was 13. I was doing cocaine at 16. So, I was drinking and smoking weed at 14. There was no supervision. I was kind of left to my own devices, and I just made bad decisions. And, I grew up idolizing guys like Ric Flair and Jack Nicholson, and, those guys had the money, the women, the cars, the drugs, it was cool. So, I was more focused on what's past high school. I'm more focused on just, hey, everybody, look at me, look at what I can do. And, when you go down that road, I lost my best friend. He died of a heroin overdose. He was 19, so I was 20.
Sorry
I lost him. Yeah. I lost my girl I lost my virginity to, who we were close for years. She died of a drug overdose. I lost another best friend. He just died a few years ago, but he died of literally 20 years of hard drug use. He had to wear a life vest. He had congestive heart failure at like 30. So he just had all kinds of problems with addiction. So I've lost a lot of people close to me due to that. And, you know, I like to say when I was younger, it woke me up. Well, it didn't. You start getting older and you realize I've lived for today and now it's tomorrow. Somehow I lived through all the crazy decisions, and it's either you are forced to pick up the pieces or you just lay down and die. I mean, life moves on, you know, and there's been a couple times in life where I wanted to just lay down, not go further. Um, I'm sure there's a couple times where I was suicidal. But, you know, it just came down to it where I don't want that to define me. I don't want that to be it. You know, you got one life. It just, you know, obviously now I have kids. I have a son. It's never entered my mind. I feel like I kind of gave up that right and gave up the right to move away and become a pirate. And so I have to be a father. So no, it's just one of those things where you're forced to either buck up and do what's asked of you, and it didn't happen overnight. You know, I mean, went to, you know, I remember 18, 19 years old, going to college, first in college, and instead of going to class, I got my financial aid check, and I dropped out within 2-3 weeks. And I took that $5,000 and I went to the beach for a week. I had strippers, cocaine. I mean, had one of the greatest weeks of my life. But I mean, those are the bad decisions I was making. Just, I didn't care. I was all about making memories, living for today. And you just get older, you know. Gosh, the stories I have in Atlanta. I ended up dating this girl and got involved with some, you know, higher bad people, you know, instead of dealing with nickels and dimes back in. I'm getting off subject. I'm getting out of order. Let me go back.
This is all alleged, by the way.
Yeah.
Alleged.
Well, I don't mind talking about it now because there's got to be a
statute of limitations.
Yeah, and honestly, everybody that was involved in this is either dead or in jail. So, like, I really don't have any enemies from that life anymore that I know of. But in high school, you know, while people were going to school, I'm skipping class and I'm kicking in drug dealers' doors. I'm masked up with ghost face mask. I got a friend who's in the getaway car. I mean, this is West Virginia. We got houses in the woods and hollers that, you know, we would post up and watch, get their schedule. This guy, you know, we ended up, I think, like over 10 pounds of pot, you know, and that was 15 years ago. That guy's dead now.
Separate. Separate.
Yeah, I mean, he passed away. He was old. I actually think he was an old drug dealer from the 80s. He had his own Cessna plane and a runway in his yard. So I mean, that
different level.
Yeah, I don't know if you can get away with that today, but you know. But no, I mean, that's how I was living high school. I was robbing drug dealers and selling, making 100% profit and buying stuff. And I mean, I had a brand new 2008 Tiburon with a body kit. I mean, I just thought I was, you know, the nature boy, you know, or Pablo Escobar, whichever one.
Yeah.
And, you know, then I got involved with some much worse people and dated this girl from Atlanta. And now Atlanta, that is like my Vegas. I've been to Vegas a few times, but Atlanta, I've been about 10 times. And I have, oh my God, the stories. I love Atlanta, and Atlanta loves me. And I'll be going back to Atlanta here in about 6 months, so I'm pretty excited. I haven't been there. I haven't been there in years. So
hopefully it's a good trip. So you mention all this stuff, but then you say you hate to say blessed. Can I ask why?
Because I don't feel like I should be blessed any more than this person over here. Why? I'm the same. I'm a human being. I have the same blood in me, same skin. You know, like why is God, blessing me more than you? I don't like it. It makes me feel like he chose me or something. I don't believe that. I think that I like to think that God gives us all the opportunity, some better than others, to live a life. The opportunity to live a life, whatever that life is, to breathe, to live, to, you want to go be a drug dealer, go be a drug dealer. It's probably not going to work out for you, but that's your choice. And God gave you breath to choose that. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that was because I'm a faith bearing man, and
Yeah.
I feel like we're all blessed in our own way, right? Like my blessing isn't beautiful hair, beautiful body, great abilities to be in a ring. My blessings are differently,
Yeah.
and we're all just different decisions away from being each other. So many decisions away from being the guy who's homeless or being the guy who's going through a divorce or being so I think it is a blessing, man. Like going through all that stuff you went through. And we share a similar background. I'll just leave mine right there. But now that I'm on the other side and I can look back and I can look at all those times where I'm like, man, how many of my friends were killed in that situation? How many of my friends went to prison in that situation? How many of my friends, why me? How did I get here? I should be dead. I didn't see a life past 18. So it's like when we're sitting here, what would you tell Nick back then? Like if you can go back and talk to him, what would you tell him? Because there's people going through the situations you were going through today, right now.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you opening up and sharing that, especially, choosing the Relentless Project to do it. I appreciate it because I love the success stories. I love the good stories. But the thing that I truly find passion in is learning what people went through, their dark times, and how they got through it. Because by listening to those stories, we can all, learn from each other and how we can get through whatever season we're experiencing at this moment.
If I could go back and tell myself, I'd probably tell him to wake up. I had enough time to accomplish what I wanted to do. I mean, I still haven't accomplished everything. I still have a lot left on the table, but you're wasting time. I might have been, but I think about if I could have woke up, had this epiphany, right? And I'll get to that when that happened. If I could have had it sooner, then, maybe I'm not 6 years into my career. Maybe I'm 10 years, maybe I would have been able to make the right decisions back then. And so, I mean, my thing is I had that wake up moment. I actually probably had two in my life. The time, like we discussed, during COVID, that was the wake up with my athletic. But just to get to that point, I had to have another wake up. But you don't just go from selling cocaine across state lines, I mean, to fucking going and raising a family. It doesn't happen like that. There's a lot of things that happened in between.
A lot of baby steps in between.
Yeah. So that, I remember one of the last trip coming back from Atlanta, the last trip with as far as being a dealer, I was on my way back. I was in the back seat. I had 3 other people involved, and I made a promise to God. I just, I had this, I guess my blessing would be that God allowed me at the 11th hour. Doesn't matter what the situation is. He grants me at the 11th hour to wake up or to realize. I've always had that knack to, seems like, to push the limit, but not, push it over the edge. And so, I'm in Virginia. I still pass the exit. When I pass the exit, I still think about it. I feel like, my life changed there. I was looking out the window and been up all night on a you know, stringer. And I just said, God, I realized that there's only two ways it's going to end this life. I was probably 21 at the time. I'm very young to be doing that. I got to that point, it was like, okay, I'm either going to die of an overdose or something stupid, getting shot, or I'm going to, go to prison for a long time. And I said, if you get me back home to West Virginia, I will never do this again. Never. I'll never sell cocaine. I'll never deal. I'm done. And he got me to West Virginia. We pulled into the, trap house, whatever you want to call it. And I got out of the vehicle. I gave them my stuff that I had on me. And I said, I'm out. And they laughed and were like, yeah, whatever. I just handed them $3,000 worth of coke, my cut. I mean, it wasn't that much, but still, I mean, $3,000. I didn't even want any money back. I literally just blew $3,000, and I left, and I never looked back. And that was very well could be the smartest decision I ever made in my life.
I would say.
Yeah. Since then, I've gone to college. I mean, and I remember trying to get things started in West Virginia here, and things weren't working. And told my dad, I was like, I need to get out of state. I need a fresh start. I need a change. And I went to Charlotte and, went through college, completed that. And, again, I feel like I could take college more seriously because I was focused, I was determined, I was more mature. And then got done with that and, started full-time work in the car industry and just started living a normal, regular life, put one foot in front of the other and not stuff up my nose.
With a past like that, people have to try to hold it over your head. How hard is it to look people in the eye and say, that's not me anymore?
I don't care. I'm not ashamed. I haven't cared about what people think of me in that sense with that. I care more about what people think about me in wrestling in the locker room, my peers. I want them to respect me. I want them to know Nick is a great wrestler. He's a great father. He can go. Like he's a great human being. As far as caring about my past and things I've done or, being judged, look, I've grown up and seen preachers out there, screwing in the back room of the church. Don't be sitting here talking to me about that crap. I think in 2026, I like to believe that everybody can just accept things like it's not 1980 anymore. We're not sure. It's not the 1950s.
That's a wild thing for you to ask of people to just get along.
Right?
Get out of here.
I mean, who's really trying to portray yourself as perfect now?
Everyone. Dude, social media is the most annoying. I mean, I get it. It is the most annoying thing. Like, you see it all the time. You see someone doing well, someone at whatever they're doing, and then, 10 years ago, he did this or she did this. Like, let's cancel or let's wish death upon them. And it's like, you didn't grow in 10 years? You didn't change in 10 years? You didn't mature in 10 years? Like, you're holding this against them?
Yeah, I guess that, people still try to portray that, but, what I'm getting at is that I feel like it's foolish.
Oh, absolutely.
We've seen so much of the world and, in life that, like I said, it's not 1950s anymore. If you think people are actually living that way online behind closed doors, then you're a fool. So
I agree. I think it's very important to own your past. It shaped you to be the person you are today. So it's like, if you wish it away, who do you become today? Who are you today? So I think it's very important for people to understand, like, you may be going through something, but if you push through with the best of intention, like, you will make it through. You just have to want to, and you have to make the right decisions too. And
absolutely.
I think people get so stuck in, well, this is my situation now, let me lay down on the sword. And it's like, man, there's so much life ahead of you, whether you're 30, 40, 50. I see 50-year-olds starting new careers and new hobbies and new marriages.
And when I was young, when I was younger, I have a lot more attributes now. I do. But at the same time, I had less attributes then, but I was so fierce. I just no fear. I just the things that I would think up and try to accomplish or go after are just looking back, I'm like, man, that was exhausting. But like I said, I was fearless back then. And, now I'm a little bit more experienced, more educated. I, take my time with things. But, yeah, it's crazy how things work out. I think, nowadays I deal with a little bit of anxiety that I didn't before, and that's come with age. But if I tell anybody that's going through those things, you got to take it one day at a time. If I look here and look at my year schedule, it's overwhelming. You got like 80, 90 dates, like if not 100. I mean, sometimes it's more than that. It's just you got to take it one day at a time, and just one foot in front of the other. Start with something small and just get that, and just keep it going.
I just want to take a second to shout out a few companies who've believed in me. These were one of our first official sponsors, so huge shout out. Today's episode is proudly sponsored by Carbo Jewelers, established in 1997 on the values of honesty and integrity. Whether you're searching for the perfect piece, need expert repair services, visit Carbo Jewelers in Newark's Ironbound District, where your jewelry is always in safe hands. This episode is also brought to you by Continental Jewelers, proudly serving Hudson County, New Jersey since 1964. Whether you're seeking a timeless piece or need expert repairs, they've got you covered. Visit Continental Jewelers, your trusted source for all things jewelry. You can find them on Instagram at Carbo Jewelers or online at carbojewelers.com. Lastly, big shout out to Carbo Trading. Besides coins, precious metals, and jewelry, if it could be traded and collected, he's probably got it. They can be found on Instagram at carbo.trading. You can find all of our sponsors out online on our sponsor page at therelentlessproject.com. And now you're father to a 6-year-old son.
Well, he's actually 7 now.
7. Oh, yeah. Well, happy birthday, little man. My bad. That's me.
He'll be 8 in July, so it's coming up. Yeah.
Oh, my notes are outdated because it took forever. 8 years old. Your life changes a lot when you're responsible for another human life.
Absolutely.
How much has that influenced you to want to be, the hero, right? Like wrestlers are always heroes. Like how much you looked up to wrestlers as a kid. How much does it inspire you to have someone close at home who looks up to you?
Oh, I mean, it's changed my life. It's changed it forever. Probably my best memory in my life is the first time taking him to the beach and seeing him touch the water. And, I don't know what's going to go through my mind when I pass away, but that will probably be in there. It's just, that first couple of years, there's so much newness. You're experiencing all your things that you loved in childhood. You're experiencing with them for their first time, and then the next couple of years you find out whether they like it or not. The first couple of years they're just forced to accept. Like when he's in the hospital bed, he's just born. I got a picture. There's a little NASCAR car and a Ric Flair figure. So like. That's what I'm hoping he wants, but he's awesome, man. And every year they reveal more about themselves to you, and they show you more of who they are, and it's just exciting as he's getting older, because he started basketball about a year ago, and he's played soccer ever since he could walk, but I had no clue he was good and loves basketball. So like I play soccer with him, but I love basketball. We just go back and forth with that. So
it's the coolest thing.
Changed my life. I can talk all day and smile all day about it. So
yeah, just seeing them learn about themselves, and then you learn about yourself, interestingly enough, as they grow older, right? You learn about your patience. You learn about, what it means to have selfless love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if your kid's at the age there yet, but mine is, we bump heads. And even in those times, I'll say it in my head. I'm like, you have no idea how much I love you. You have
Yeah.
no idea what you mean to me. And here we are bumping heads because your favorite cereal is out. Like,
We're not there yet. He's still daddy's boy, but I told him, I was like, everything that you do in life, like this year he had his first experience with getting picked on by a kid, and he had his he just had a lot of first, he's in first grade, so I'm going through the motions and telling him like, I've been through everything you've been through. Like, there's not something that you're going to encounter, especially the older you get. When he gets into the teenage years, we're really going to see what it's going to be like. Because, there's just nothing he's not going to experience that I haven't. And then I'm here to help you. I'm here to guide you through it. You got a cheat sheet, man. Like, use it.
I say the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. Times are different. Moments are different, but the lesson remains the same. It's old as time.
Mm-hmm.
Like lean on me, and I can help you get through it.
Yeah. My dad was a great dad to me, but in the first 10, 11 years, he was just, the only time I really seen him was sports. And that's probably why I did so many sports. And he was involved with all the sports. He made time for that. But outside of really coming to practice or helping me practice in the yard, he was working. He was one of those blue collar workers. We had a life because he worked 12, 14 hours a day, every day. So then when the divorce happened, I didn't really see much of him either. So like I said, I feel like he was a good dad. It was just, that was the cards that were dealt with me. It's just, so I didn't get to see him a lot. So with me and him, me and my son, I'm like, dude, you got me. Like, use me, ask me questions, so, and he does, he listens. I couldn't have been, granted a better son as far as listening. I see other kids and, they're going through the store acting crazy. And I'm like, people are telling me like, how does your son so well behaved? I have no idea, because me at his age was not like this.
Yeah, that's credit to him. Credit to him.
Yeah.
When did you get into the real estate game? Juggling wrestling and being a father. That's not enough, obviously. So you're also doing real estate. What was that deciding factor?
Real estate, that happened about a year ago. It took me, about 7 months to do the class. So I guess the initial start of it was, year and a half. It just, with wrestling, the deeper I got into it, it became more of a full-time gig. There's levels to it, like anything else. And once you get into it to a certain degree, if you're good enough, you kind of realize like there's no going back. And, if I do, I'm just going to regret it for the rest of my life. So let's keep pushing. And so with that, though, until you get signed, it's big financial hardship. I get paid well, a lot better than what I did before, when I first started wrestling. But at the same time, until you get signed, I don't care who you are, it's very difficult to not have some sort of backup job or even a part-time or shoot job to go along with it. And so when I started looking at the options around me, I was like, man, there's just not a lot of jobs out there that I can make full-time money, but work part-time. So I really had to kind of figure it out, because I didn't want my wrestling to take a back seat, because I have to work 10 hours and then go my gym, because we've all been there. You press on, but something's got to give. Something's got to slack off. And I just know that it would probably even if I didn't want it to be, it would probably become wrestling, and that's just not an option. So I met this beautiful woman named Caressa, and she just completely changed my life. She owned a real estate business, and I really thought something like that was unattainable. I just didn't know anything about it. And, the class itself was so intimidating. And so I just didn't think it was possible, but, she pushed me, and here I am. I was able to get the license, and life's been good. It's definitely helped me keep the wrestling going and fuel and sustain it. So I'm very thankful for having that.
Well, if you ever have any referrals in the Pittsburgh area, send them my way.
All right.
Yeah, the discipline it takes to close a deal is entirely different than taking bumps in a wrestling ring. How do you balance those two? You're saying one would have to give. How does a normal, normal air quotes week look like for you with training and remaining, ring ready, but also making sure your clients are, getting the best of you?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. It's the first few months was very hard to, kind of adjust to, because, my work before wrestling, or even during wrestling before real estate, was, I'd clock in, do a job, clock out, and I'm done. It consumed more of my time, but when I was done with that. Real estate's not like that. It's 24/7, so like I can be sitting here at 9:30 at night, and I had a beer and I've got a client. So it's just one of those deals where you've got to balance it. You've got to, make schedules or make time. I usually start out the day immediately with, eating and then getting to the gym. That's the most important deal. And that's when I feel the best, the freshest. I'm 35 years old and I wrestle every weekend. So, I don't feel the greatest every week. And usually in the evenings, I'm really tired and run down. So main thing is get to the gym. And then real estate, you're just constantly doing it all throughout the day. That was my biggest adjustment. It was just stopping what I'm doing and back and forth. And, yeah, so it's really not too difficult now. It's a lot easier than having a full-time clock in and clock out job, just because of the freedom. But it can get dicey. I mean, when you're trying to show houses and then go to a show, I do a lot of driving, a lot
of mileage.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take 2 hours off of real estate, you got 30 emails to answer.
Yeah.
It's the worst. I hate that little icon, so I'll take the icon off my phone, and then when I log into my email, it's like 30 emails. I'm like, I should probably put that back on.
Yeah.
So you debuted in 2020. Since then, you've probably had over 200, 300 matches, but you won. What's that little shiny thing behind you? I see it.
Yeah, that actually is the Appalachian Championship Wrestling ACW World Heavyweight Championship. I won that, say about 2 months ago.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. They're actually, this will probably be the last appearance for this title. They've got me a new undisputed championship belt. So I was hoping it was going to be ready for this show, but it's not ready. So it'll probably be ready, I'd say, in a couple weeks.
We'll call this the vintage belt then.
Yeah.
Only on the Relentless Project. I'm the greatest bad man ever. The men hate me because the women love me. How did this persona come to be? You say it's you amplified.
Yeah.
How do you find who you are in the ring? Because I know a lot of people go through different personalities and they're trying to find themselves. How did you manage to land yours so, it seems what it appears like, smoothly and effortlessly?
Well, like I said, my father was an influence in my life, but really, I mean, like I said, he was away a lot. So the major influences I had were from television, and I just, naturally gravitated towards, guys like Ric Flair and Jack Nicholson. And people don't even know it, but, some of my stuff, little nuances in there, are even based on like Michael Jackson and Elvis. So, it's just watching these people grow, throughout my life kind of molded me. And you're right. I mean, there's different weeks where like, you're in a different mindset or different personality, and especially over the course of 6 years or 20 or 30 years. But I guess, I always just want to look good, want to feel good. I want to have a good time. I want everybody around me to have a good time. I've always been a fan of, beautiful women. So that's helped shape me into the person I am. So yeah, like I said, it is just me. It's just turned up to 1,000. It is sometimes effortlessly, and it's easy. I mean, I tell my girlfriend all the time, some matches I'm like, I don't even know how I did it. It's like somebody else's, I'm in control. I'm in full control. I know if something happens over here out of the corner of my eye, I know what's going on. But it's almost like getting off a lightning bolt. Like you just wrote it and you don't know how. So, yeah.
I love the irony because you've worked so hard to become a good guy in your life. And then you go out there and you play the arrogant, bad heel where you're just rubbing people, you're pushing buttons. Like how do you manage that? How do you balance that? Is it therapeutic to go out there and be able to be this guy that so many eyes are on because you've created this friction?
Yeah, and it has. And I mean, in the early years, like I said, you get a lot of people hating on you in the back, jealousy, people protecting their spots. And I just would use that as fuel and motivation. I mean, there would be some shows that, like, because of who was there, who was watching, and it's kind of like, why would you care about earning the respect of somebody that just wanting to hold you down? No, it's kind of like I want to make them eat it. I want to shove it down their throat. But yeah, come and watch me do it. How great I am, because I'm growing up football wise, I was a big Deion Sanders fan. It's prime time, it's showtime. That's when the most pressure is on is when I elevate my game, as when I do my best. So when there's people that are disliking me or whatnot, or I feel that negativity, that's when I can really tap into that energy and be Handsome Nick Hamrick to the fullest and shove it in your face. But what's happening, and that happened a lot in the beginning, but now a lot of people respect me, which is good. I'm very appreciative of that. So a lot of times I'll come out and it's kind of like, I would never compare myself to Rick, but it's, when you, as a heel, when you get to a certain level where they love to hate you, they love to see you, and now they're clapping for you. So
I was just gonna say that you lean into this heel so well, and people end up loving you so much, you almost turn face.
Yeah,
it's like, we've seen it with The Rock. The Rock was like the arrogant, in your face. Everyone loved him. It's like,
yeah. In the first couple of years, I'd go into a place, and I remember, ever since I started, I've had Louis Vuitton luggage. It's just something that set me apart from other wrestlers. I just thought in the beginning, oh yeah, that's cool. That'll match Handsome Nick Hamrick style. I didn't know how much of an uproar it caused. You should have seen the faces, man. I'd come into the locker room and people have their regular luggage, and they'd be, who's this jerk off with the Louis Vuitton? Who the hell does he think he is? And I'm like, well, aren't we, and I'm dressed nice. Like, aren't we supposed to, like, in my high school basketball and football, I'm wearing a suit to the game. Are we not supposed to look good like rock stars? We're professional wrestlers, not sweatpants and sweatshirt and a trash bag. Like, what the hell? So I remember kind of taming it down. I still had the Louis Vuitton. I still but I wouldn't dress nice back. And I remember Carson Drake. I'm sure a lot of you know him. NWA was the TV champion, but he's signed with NWA. He's a great, phenomenal talent. I saw him one day come into a locker room dressed in a suit. And yeah, he looked like a prick. And he kind of acted like one too. I'll be honest, he kind of did. And I was just like, man, you know what though? He doesn't care. They're all kissing his ass because he signed. They don't care. I was like, the only thing separating me from him is the fact that I'm not higher on the food chain. And that's what it is. And that's life in general. Once you reach a certain degree where they see what you're about and they respect you and they like you, if they do, then you can kind of get away with doing things. And so from that moment on, I just said, screw it. I'm turning up to 1,000 backstage in the spotlight. Doesn't matter where I am. I'm handsome Nick Hamrick. And I've never looked back, and it was one of the best decisions in my career.
That's a metaphor for life too. How many of us walk through life worried about what the next person thinks and like what are they going to say about this? Whatever, lean into it. Lean into it. They're going to love you, they're going to hate you. At the end of the day, you're still going to do what you're going to do. And the fear that you're creating is literally that. You're creating the fear. Oh, they're not going to like me, and then this is going to happen. Yeah. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, though, it was a real thing. People hated me just because of the way I looked, and they didn't even talk to me. And, and it was a big struggle with that, But at the end, you can't care what people think of you. You got to do what you feel is right.
Yeah, and you've been in the ring with multiple notable stars, guys like Enzo, Ricky Morton, Mang, who's legitimately feared in wrestling. Who hit you the hardest, and what was the biggest pinch me, I'm dreaming moment while in the ring? Because growing up, you're watching this thing, and now you're in it, and you're surrounded by some of the guys who are pinnacle of the industry. Like, can you recall a moment where you're like in the ring going, damn, I'm really doing this?
Yeah. I mean, the person who hit the hardest, it's funny. I've had guys that are 300 pounds that you think just, they'll take my head off, and they're as light and as perfect, and it looked great I could ask for. Then I've had guys that are just super small. They ain't gonna hurt me, and they just leveling you, and it's like, what the hell, dude? Like,
something to prove.
Yeah. No, the hardest hits I've had, probably two come to mind. I was in Charleston, South Carolina, doing a beach show. I was wrestling Kevin Thorne. He used to wrestle for the WWE. I think he was there for about 10 years. He was for a long time. And he's just huge, man. If you ever look him up, he is like 6'5", 350 pounds. And he's actually in real estate too. It's funny. He's in real estate in Indiana. Great guy, though. Great guy. And I just, I don't think he intently, maliciously meant to do this because, like I said, we went out afterwards, had a good time. I didn't get that vibe from him, but he choke slammed me, and man, it felt like I went through the earth. Like, I have never had a choke slam that bad. And another one was Beast Man. You can be trained, you can be as safe as we can try to be in this business, but when you have got, I don't even know how much he weighs, but when you got that much weight, it's just, shit's gonna happen, and you got to be tough to be in this business. It's, so I remember he did a cannonball in Kentucky to me, in the corner, and I don't know if you don't know what that is. It's basically a rolling, literally what it sounds like, and it got like 400 and some pounds. And he cannonballed into me and popped my shoulder blade and like 2 or 3 ribs out, like just literally popped out and not broken. And that sounds crazy, but I had to go the next day to have it pop back in. And I felt like my eyes came out of my head. And that took about 9 weeks to get over. I still worked, I still wrestled, but you're limited. As far as the time where I'm like, holy shit, this is surreal. What is life? I have had tons of those moments. I still I was in a match, this past week with Rhino from WWE and Heath Slater. And, when I'm getting Rhino gored by Rhino, it just like, this is cool.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it was probably the first time was when I wrestled Ricky Morton in a steel cage. And that was like, dude, you wrestled Flair in a steel cage. Like, the thing that I like the best about this is if we had all our lives, if it was like a DVD or a VHS or whatever, it was a movie, and we, hit rewind. You go back far enough and you find that point in his life where he did X, Y, and Z. Well, then if you fast forward, there I am. We're on the same tape. And that is just super cool. And that's happened a lot. I mean, I've gotten to wrestle a lot of legends that I think coming up here in a few weeks, I'm wrestling Brock Anderson. He'll have his dad, Arn Anderson, in his corner. So that's very special to me. I mean, I've been on a show with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely surreal getting to live this life.
Yeah, but it also takes a toll. Like you mentioned, popping out your ribs and shoulder blade. How do you manage that while you're in there? Like, it's very rare that they'll just stop and go, oh, he's hurt. It's like most of the time you have to push through.
Yeah, here's the thing. I've boxed too. I've played hockey. I've played football. Any type of contact sport, you got so much adrenaline going through you that if you get hurt, like, and you're hurt, like, there's been times where I've gotten hurt and I didn't know how hurt I was because of the adrenaline until it wore off. And then I'm like, okay, I got an injury here. I need to work with this. But if you feel it in the ring with all that adrenaline, you know that you're screwed. Like, something bad has happened. I mean, I've had my nose busted several times, black eyes. I've had broken ribs. I've had broken collarbone. I did that in training when I first started. Shoulders. I've had my AC joint tore in this one. I broke my ankle, and guy came off the top, and I was on the floor, and he did a shooting star press, so backflip. And, I caught him. Well, there's like 3 other guys there, and they didn't catch him. I was the only guy. And, that was early in my career, but that much weight just snapped my ankle, and I went and wrestled the very next day on it. I have only missed, I think, 2 shows due to injury in 6 years.
How often are you guys calling audibles in the ring? I would because I can't even imagine how this is done. I love the behind the scenes, so if you're willing to share, I'd appreciate it. But like, there's so much going on that it's almost like you have to be improvising the entire time.
Oh, man, you have to have your head on a swivel, but no doubt about it. Because the thing is, we're not just concentrated on the moves or what's next. You got to listen to the crowd, what they're into. I mean, that's why sometimes, guys will put together something, a couple moves or whatnot, and it's not resonating. The crowd doesn't like it. You got to change. You're not going to keep serving them shit if they're not liking it. So, but no, you got to, I got a manager, I got a valet. So, I got people out there that, and they're great, but, we all help each other. There's sometimes where I'm not in the right position, but again, I've been in the ring the most. And when you're in there as much as I am, it's kind of like I'm the captain, I'm the quarterback. Yes, I'm relying on my linemen, my manager to help, and I can't do it, without them, so to speak, or it's done a whole lot better with them there. But at the same time, I'm the one controlling everything, trying to keep everybody on the same page. Plus, communicate with your opponent, keep time. The referee's telling you time, that way you're not taken away from other matches, or you're not ending too soon that they have to do more work. It's a lot.
You're also on time constraints. I didn't even put that together.
Yeah, especially TV. I mean, they got, earpiece to the producers and agents in the back. And I mean, you got commercials, you got stuff, you know, especially if you're live, like, so people have different styles, you know. I've kind of gathered that a lot of the higher end people of today's, you know, they won't call the entire match. There'll be bullet points, a couple of moves or things that they want to get to in the match that's going to change the direction of it, where it's going. And the rest of it is improv, you know, it is just communicating, or it's feeling what the crowd, like, I know the crowd is down here. I need to get them back up. So we need to pick up the pace. Or I know that the crowd has been too exhausted right now, so we need to bring them back down. I need to grab a hold and build them back up. You know, it's a psychology deal. So, like, you know, if you watch movies or you watch stand-up comedy, it's all a lot alike. It's very similar. You tell a story, you get to the climax, and then you finish, you know, and you have different ways of doing matches. You can end with the climax high at the end. You can have that in the middle. I mean, there's so many different variables and ways you can go about it. That's why it's art. You know, you can do whatever you want and make it look great or make it look really terrible.
Yeah. No, and it's I can only imagine it's probably easy to mess up, you know, and so the fact that it looks seamless and looks easy, like you're just in there, that's skill. You know, the most notable one is Mick Foley getting slammed through the cage into the ring. That was like a complete audible. And I think it was Undertaker. He didn't even want to do it. And he's like telling him, like, no, do it. Like, can you imagine being that guy and you're like, dude, we've just beat the snot out of each other and you want me to attempt murder you? Like, you have to trust them, I guess.
Yeah, no, and I've been in there with guys like you mentioned Enzo Amore, just tremendous talent. I hope to God he gets, if he wants to go back to WWE, I hope to God he sign him, because they're stupid not to have him. He's one of the top indie, you know, wrestlers on the circuit right now, and has been ever since, you know, he's come back in the fold. So it's honestly just, I don't know, it's horrible that he's not with a bigger company. But I did a match with him, and it shows you the diversity, you know, the difference between, you know, I've been in there with a legend that doesn't want to call anything except for the finish, and he asked me what moves I can do, and okay, I'll tell you when to do this and do that. But with his match, he didn't even ask me. I mean, there was literally nothing. Went out there, he told me what to do, and I listened to him. And it was a great match. But, you know, you talk about being nervous as hell. Like, what if he calls something I don't know how to do?
Yeah.
You know, I've never wrestled him before. He's a WWE guy. Like, I want to, you know, make him proud. I want to show people I can go. I don't want to screw up this match. So, you know, and I remember one part in the match, I didn't hear what he said, and he comes running at me, and it was just pure body language that I knew what he wanted me to do. And it was a tilt-a head scissors. And, yeah, I mean, we got it. It looked great, and we had a great match, and I got the blessing from him, which is just, those are the moments. You know, you got the Good Brothers, you got Enzo, you got Heath. You know, you got these guys that have been to the show, and they haven't been there back in the 80s. You know, they were just there, you know, within the last 10 years. And they're telling you, like, dude, you're good. You got it. Like, that's pretty awesome. But those are my most proudest moments is, you know, and, you know, you can backfire. You can call something, and you're more focused on trying to remember what you called. And so you got to find that happy medium, what works for you. But then sometimes you're in there with a guy like Enzo. He's just trained by Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
And he's phenomenal. And you're just like, how the hell am I going to do this? And he's just, hang on, baby. I got you.
Yeah. Riding the lightning bolt.
Yep.
So wrestling, obviously, describing hurts a lot mentally, physically.
Yeah.
You're a bigger guy, and you like to do moves that we probably shouldn't be doing. Drop kicks from the top rope and all that fun stuff. How do you stay healthy so you can still play with your son on Sunday after a crazy match Saturday night?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting tougher. They say we have a bump card. What that is, a bump count, basically how many bumps our body can withstand. And every wrestler, every trainer will tell you that. And in the beginning, you're just, yeah, whatever, But I have definitely felt it. It's real. And I work. I've never been the just crazy. We'll go out there in front of 50 people and I'll do this moonsault off the top, and try to kill myself. No, because I'm trying to work every week, and but there's certain matches, certain times, certain places that are warranted. Like, okay, I had one last week. I did 2 matches in the same day, and then I went and did a run-in with Rhino and Heath. So I had 3 really matches in one day. And the first one's a world title match, 20-minute. There's 500 people there. It had to be a banger. I'm the guy. So we went all out. And then the second match, there's over 1,000 people at that show. If you think I'm not going to go all out for that match, you're mistaken. So, Sundays, Mondays, I'm feeling very beat up and tired. There's usually my days off. I'm just recuperating. But it's a full 24/7 deal. It's the training is the most important thing. Early in my career, I would get hurt a lot more because I didn't have the muscle to withstand it. And my shoulders were constantly jacked up. And now, like, I feel better in that sense because I got more muscle. But it's heavier to carry around, so you feel tired, you feel more sluggish. No, I mean, it's chiropractic. It's I've been going to chiropractor for about 3 or 4 years now, usually as needed. But there for a while, it was, during the growing years, it was probably every week.
Got a membership card.
Yeah, and now I'm basically once a month as needed. I feel pretty good with my training. I do hot tub a lot. I do cold showers. I really believe it's all in the diet, and I take creatine. That really helps quite a bit with healing. But no, I mean, your diet is everything. Chicken, steak, burger, rice, eggs. Really not any dairy.
Collagen for the hair.
Water. Yeah. I'm hanging on to it, man.
Dude, it looks good. It looks good. Do you wet it before a match?
It's like semi-wet.
Okay. Because I always see it and I'm like, what are they doing in the back? They're sweating so much already.
Yeah. No. There's guys that have so much conditioner on their hair. There's guys that have so much oil I can't even grab hold of them. I was at OVW one time wrestling, and I do a flare flip like he does over the buckle, and then I run down and get on the top turnbuckle. And I went to do that, and there was so much baby oil on the turnbuckle, I just slipped right off. It's like I don't use baby oil. I go out, a little bit of water, a little bit of Triple H style. That's about it.
Yeah, baby oil will get you in trouble nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
You said I don't understand why God has blessed me and used me. When you look out at a crowd that's booing you, you're in character. You're in a role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you ever just smile internally knowing like how far you've come? Like this is where you're meant to be. You're playing your role so well that they're reacting in the best way. Like how is that feeling?
It is very rewarding. Yeah, I mean, I had a show about a month ago, and it's in southern West Virginia. And I drove past place where I went to jail or prison. I spent about 2 months there. Spent one of my birthdays there, and that's been almost 20 years ago, and it's just yes, very hard to believe or accept that, but just very thankful that I'm able to, like I said, live the life I want to now. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. And I hope anyone listening to this can connect, because you're the perfect example. It's never too late. You're never too far gone. You're never too far gone. Now look at you.
Yeah.
We're going to lighten it up a little bit. Now we're going to, as we tie it all together, or as we start to close, the Relentless Rapid Round. Quick question, quick answers, no thinking, just bang, bang, bang. Which you're quick on your feet. Anyone who's seen your match knows that. So we're going to speed it up. Quick answers only. Ring the bell.
Yeah.
If you had to put a difficult real estate client in one of your wrestling holds, which one are you using?
Oh, figure four. They wouldn't know to turn it over, and I could really hurt them.
Paying homage. What hurts more, taking a stiff clothesline from a 250-pound wrestler, or a real estate deal falling through at the closing table?
The latter. Come on, man. Real estate deal closing. I'll take a clothesline all day.
I'm just saying, you don't get paid if it don't close. That could be a hit.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, that's definitely the worst.
Of all the WWE, WCW, TNA stars you've ever faced, who taught you the most in the ring?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
The most? Gosh. As far as personally, because there's two answers to this. The most that's been taught me in the ring is by Ric Flair. I have
That's fair.
Watched and studied. I mean, we're talking probably a million hours at this point. It's that many. I mean, maybe hundreds of thousands of hours of tape I've watched. But personally, it's ironic because they hate each other. Is Shane Douglas. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. Dude's arch nemesis, is taking me under his wing. So what can I say?
Oh, man, the irony. Your life is full of irony. I love it. What music is playing in your headphones when you're in the gym training?
Oh, definitely some. I like modern day hip hop. I mean, I like some old school hip hop. I'm all over the place. I can pretty much listen to any type of classic rock or hip hop, but just don't give me country during working out. I like country, but that's time and a place.
Different vibe.
Yeah.
What does your son think when he sees people booing his dad at a show?
So, been a couple of shows that he's cried. He did. He didn't. The last one I was at was a hardcore match with Madman Pondo, and I had to talk to him beforehand. I said, "What you're seeing, man, I'm a professional. I'm okay. Don't worry." And then when it was over, he was upset the fact that I was being carried out. I just went through a table off the top rope, and he was like, "Yeah, but." One of his friends was like, "Your dad's okay," and he's like, "No, you don't understand. My dad never cries." So, he was pretty upset.
Yeah, that's gotta be tough. Like, how do you protect the, integrity of the show, but also protect your son? Because
I don't tell him. I treat him like a fan. I tell him that Daddy's trained and I could take this, and I know what I'm doing. This is my job. I'm a professional. So if Daddy gets hurt, Daddy's okay because, I got the muscles to take it. It's like Batman, right? He's not going to stop fighting crime. It's dangerous. He could get hurt, but he's Batman. So
that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Complete the thought. A man is only as good as
His word.
ooh.
Yep.
Now we're going to tie it all together. You know, the podcast is called The Relentless Project. We heard a lot of your story, a lot of your trials, your tribulations, a lot of your success. You were a street medic, allegedly, who lost everything, and now you're a champion, a realtor, a father. To the listener right now who says they've messed up their life too bad to fix it, what is your message to them?
Are you still alive? Are you still breathing? Because as long as you're still alive and still breathing, I don't think any fat lady has sung yet. You know? So, yeah, I mean, you know, you just have to, like I said, take it day by day. Start small. Whatever mountain you're facing. I mean, you know, I'm getting ready to face a big match, or, you know, I got a big show, or, you know, I got to travel 10 hours, or whatever mountain's facing me in life. You know, I draw a lot of strength from people that have gone through worse, right? So if I start feeling that anxious feeling and like, oh, how am I going to do this? I really do. For me, for what works for me, I'm not saying everybody, but I look up military heroes. I look up guys that, you know, fought in wars. They're getting ready to, at 18, 19 years old, go face something that none of us can imagine. I'm like, dude, whatever you're feeling right now, think about how they were feeling. So if you can find that, what works for you, you know, and comparison, it can be the thief of joy, but comparison can also be the reward you need to get you through it. Like, you're comparing yourself situation to somebody else's and it's a lot worse and they're able to overcome it. Come on, man. You can do it too. Find that strength, whatever it is. Just find it, grab it, and hold it and use it.
No, that's good advice. I mean, if you wake up the next day, you have a new 24 hours, clean slate.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
if someone's listening who wants to turn their life around today, what is the very first immediate step they need to take, in your opinion?
Excuse my language, but I call it mind fucking. You know, we mind fuck ourselves a lot. We tell ourselves and convince ourselves, oh, we got tomorrow, we will do this, we'll do that. And it's just a bunch of blah, 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 blah. It's just BS. Get that out of your mind. Get that. I mean, literally, if you can visualize it, because sometimes we do it so much that, and we even say it. We say the things that we're supposed to say, but we don't do it. You know, so to count, you know, go through with doing it, you know, imagine you're actually killing it. Like, that person who's sitting there trying to screw you over and tell you, yeah, you know, you don't need to do it right now. You don't need to do this. You can do this and you'll make time and you'll do this. Just sniff them out. Literally extinguish them, kill them. Because the minute you do that, you've put into action now. You're not just talking about it. That's the first step.
It's very interesting you say that, because I just released a blog. Yeah, I'm writing blogs now. How the word "how" is the biggest lie you'll ever say, right? Like, you want to get wrestling, and I'm like, oh, how should I get started? Or what should I do? And we're almost waiting for someone to give us a blueprint before we give ourselves permission to get started. Yeah. And you know, on the surface, it sounds smart. It sounds good, right? Like, oh, how do I get started? You tell me, oh, you do this, this, this. It sounds like someone's interested, like they're going to take the appropriate steps. But a lot of times we're asking this because we're already looking for a way out. Oh, how do I get started? You have to go to a wrestling school for $5,000. I don't have $5,000. I just gave myself an out, and can't blame me, you know. But what I've noticed is when I talk to people and they're like, oh, I want to start a podcast. What are things I should do? And I'm like giving them steps, and like, oh, and their response, instead of going, okay, like, is there any alternatives? It's, oh, well, I can't afford the mic, or I can't do that, or I don't have a studio. They're starting to give you the excuses, and you're like, you're not actually looking to do this. You're looking for a way out of it. before you even got started.
Yeah.
Go check out the blog. Not there yet. You've won the belts. You have the career. You have the family. What does the next chapter look like for you? What can people expect?
Well, we've been able to get the career to the point where, we're at that knocking door. Like I said, there's levels to this industry. And, I've been to Japan this past year, trying to work on going to Europe for a tour there. Basically, the next step is, getting signed. We're to that level where we're either going to find out whether we're going to get signed somewhere or, we're not. And it's not saying that, never say never, or, one opportunity. It's just, I've noticed a lot in this industry that guys will rise that ladder, climb it, and then, the top guys or the top people that control it see what they are, see what they have, aren't interested, and then they start going back down. And so you either reinvent yourself or go back to the drawing board and change some things. And, you can get back up there and they might like it now. And that does happen. It's rare. But we're at that level where, I'm looking over the edge. I'm not saying I'm on top, but we're either about to find out if this is something that, and it's hard too, because I feel like this is what I was meant to do and where I'm most at home. But at the same time, I don't want to just wrestle in my same state. I don't want to just wrestle for lower budget shows. I want to stay relevant. I don't necessarily have to be signed somewhere, but I want to be at the top indie promotions. I want to be traveling the world. I want people to know, hey, that's Handsome Nick Hamrick. When I look back on it, it's all said and done, I want to be respected, and I want people to say, man, he was a damn good wrestler. And so with that, there's really no exit plan or strategy for me as far as like, well, if I don't get signed or something doesn't happen this year, what's next? It's no, as long as I can keep doing it at a higher level and travel and my body holds up, I'd love to hopefully one day have a 30-year career out of it, regardless of getting signed.
Hope to see you doing it long and well. Hope to see you doing it long and well. And the easiest question I'll probably ask you the entire show: where can people follow you online if they want to buy a house from you, or if they want to check out one of your shows, or they want to see who Handsome Nick Hamrick is?
Well, there's many. I'm all over the socials. I mean, they got Handsome Nick Hamrick, Facebook. Nick Hamrick, I believe, is Nick Hamrick 100 on Instagram. Of course, X, TikTok, YouTube. Just type in Handsome Nick Hamrick. No one else has that name. It comes up. It's easy to find. Real estate, I'm on Facebook. I'm under Old Colony Realty with Soul Sisters Realty. Those are the two brokers. So no, I mean, it's just trying to think, is there anywhere else? We got ProWrestlingTees.com. You can go in there and check out our t-shirts we got for sale. My online shop is with Facebook. I got a online shop there with coloring books and all kinds of stuff. So I think that's about it. I think that's pretty much everywhere you can find me.
He's everywhere. He's everywhere.
Yeah.
Is there any upcoming shows people should be on the lookout for?
Yeah. See, it's kind of cool. This weekend I get to go to Charleston, my hometown. I don't perform there very often. So it's always a homecoming. Facing Dalton McKenzie. He's a bigger name on the indies. And then, like I said, I got a big show coming up. It's the All-Star Wrestling Bash in Beckley. That'll be in June. And like I said, I believe I'm facing Brock Anderson at that one with Arn Anderson in his corner. So that'll be an awesome match. And that one they have at the Beckley Civic Center. So it's a big turnout. I know they've got tons of legends coming, but they usually have well over 1,000 people come. So it's definitely a show that if you're a wrestling fan, you don't want to miss.
I'll have to check it out. They can find that information on your socials.
Yeah. We usually once a month we put out a schedule with our upcoming dates for that month, and so you can look at that. That one is in, I believe, June 13th. So you got some time before that one. But I mean, we've got tons of shows. I'm going to Pensacola, Florida, May 30th for a Bash at the Beach event there that somebody's doing. That'll be a good show right there on the beach. Yeah, we're all over, man. I mean, I've got Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania. There's another Detroit coming up. So yeah, we got a busy summer ahead, spring and summer.
Well, I wish you the best of luck. I appreciate you for coming on here, sharing your story, getting vulnerable with us. And I'm glad we were finally able to make this happen.
Yes. I love what you're doing. It's an awesome podcast, and I'm very thankful to be a part of it.
I'm humble.
And I look forward to doing another one maybe one day.
Hey, I always tell people, man, the seat's always open. We all have a story to share. I feel like you have a few more I can get out of you that I'd love to hear from.
It's hard to fit into. It's hard to fit into an hour and a half. A lifetime. I got stories.
A lifetime of stories fit into a 2-hour block. If there's anyone who can make it happen, it's me. But I appreciate you for coming on. This is the one with handsome Nick Hamrick. I will say it. You've earned it. Go check out his shows. Go check out his real estate business. Yeah, bro. I appreciate you for jumping on. And we are out. Later.
All right. Believe it.
Believe it or delete it?
Believe it.
Believe it. We just got to hear from Nick Hamrick. Before we get out of here, I have a challenge for you this week. Nick talked about how he had to actively decide to stop being the villain in his own real life. He had to drop the bad habits, face his past, and rewrite a script. Your challenge this week is the Flip the Script Challenge. I want you to identify one negative label you've put on yourself. Maybe you tell yourself, I'm bad with money, I'm out of shape, or I'm a procrastinator. This week, I want you to do one undeniable action that proves that label wrong. If you say you're a procrastinator, do the hardest task on your desk first thing Monday morning. Flip the script. Stop playing the heel in your own story and become the champion. And please, share this episode with one friend who you believe needs to hear this conversation. Follow the Relentless Project on Instagram, X, and YouTube at Relentless PRJCT. Like, share, subscribe, drop a comment, show some love so we can keep bringing you awesome guests with relentless stories. And remember, we don't settle, we don't quit, and we don't wait for permission. Love you all. I'm Ish. This is the Relentless Project, and I will see you on the next one. Later.